You are now listening to the Insight Fantasy Sports Podcast.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back here at Insight for another AFL podcast. It is round 16. It is the last round that we have to deal with the buys. I am the horse, and joining me, a couple of real special guests tonight. We'll go first with my man, the squeeze extraordinaire, the man that makes 600 mil stubbies look like they're 50 mil nothings. It's Squid. How are you, mate?
I'm bloody good, horse. It's this is fantastic. The OG squad back at it again. I'm very, very excited for tonight. I mean, this has been years in the making. This is like Barras coming to Hawthorn. It's the worst kept secret in the AFL, but God, we love getting on top of everyone else and pulling a wool over everyone's eyes.
Oh, mate. And for those that don't know, so 3 years ago, it was January 30th, 2023, where Robbie and I, so the Hawk down below, we started the first ever Insight AFL podcast. And due to work commitments, Rob had to step away for a little bit, but he's always up to chat footy and all that sort of jazz. So, fuck, it's good to have you back, mate.
It's good to be back. It's nice to sit in this seat too and enjoying seeing you be the hostess with the mostest. And just I've learned, I always thought it was a bit easier maybe back in this seat, but I'm really liking it. It's good. It's good to be back. Got my life in order, which is nice, so that I can sit on with you, good legends and everybody out there. But yeah, wicked to come and chat a bit of footy and see what's going on with everybody. Yeah.
100%, mate. So for those that don't know as well, so it was Robbie and I that started way back when, and you were the host every show. Yeah. I was the one that sat back and sort of just said little bits and pieces. So you're the one that led us into kind of what we are now, as we see Papa Squid with little Archie, his first ever appearance on a podcast. How are we, Arch?
The real.
That's so cute, man.
But yeah, mate,
How
you've
cute.
done an awesome job sitting in the host seat. I've obviously been listening along. I hit you guys up all the time for a bit of SC chat, which is great. I'm enjoying the show, and just everything that's been happening and everything that you guys have been doing has just been phenomenal. Really enjoying it along, but yeah, enjoying sitting in this seat and see it from a different perspective, and we'll see what we can come up with. Hey,
absolutely, mate. So without further ado, Squiddy, you know what we do to start every show on a Wednesday night. We're going with the squeeze of the week, which I don't know where it is.
Yeah, thank you very much, horse. Squeeze of the week, and everyone in chat. That is obviously my son Archie boy. He just wanted to say a quick thank you for all the well wishes that he received, and wanted to come say good day to chat. So that is baby Squid. So it made his pod debut. But yes, standard squeeze of the week. Let's get back on to business. Squeeze of the week. It's where you have the opportunity to win great prizes from our day ones, the standard squeeze, like this beautiful 4-in-1 here that keeps Robbie's coffees warm in the morning and then beers cold at night. It is what we do. It's our day ones. You know how good they are. And if you want a chance to win one of these, all you have to do is tell us who you think is going to get the highest individual SuperCoach score for the round. For instance, what was last week? Was that Brady Grundy?
Luke Jackson.
That was Luke Jackson. That's right, Luke Jackson. So if anyone had that, then well done to them. I'm not sure if they did, but that's all right. But yeah, this week, I mean, look, boys, I think it's pretty straightforward. Dacos, Dawson. I'm going Jordan Dawson for 170. What about you? Let's go Hawk, actually. What do you reckon, Hawky?
I reckon a big talk out here in the West is that the Hoffman is going to go to Dacos, and I actually think he'll do a pretty decent job on him. I think he's done his time in the back line. He's gone into that midfield and produced a bit of good as well. So I'm going to stay a little bit away from Dacos, and I think for me it's going to be Tristan Cherry to bounce back against Hawthorn in those conditions down in Tassie to just have a big day where he takes a lot of out of the rucks and clearances himself, I think, and has a big one.
He loves tapping it to the other team and monstering the little midfielders too, doesn't he, Squid?
He does.
Bloody
hey, how was the game against the Tigers? Literally both of them were just doing that, tapping to the other and just these monster tackles. I think they both had about like double digits by halftime tackles. It was insane. Yeah.
Before we move on before we move on to my guess and the lovely donation from Ryan Hammond here, we speak about the standard squeeze and how good of a product they are. You got yours 2.5 years ago, Rob, and it's still going strong.
Mate, I have my coffee in it every single morning. I kid you not. I've poured a cold one in it for tonight, but my cold one, I have my coffee every single morning. Does the job. It's perfect. I love it. I seriously couldn't speak highly enough about this product right here.
Yeah. Now we speak of Ryan Hammond, who's donated $8 towards the podcast. Need a hell of a lot more of Rob and a lot less of Mick. Never been happier to see little Squid at home.
Rob. Isn't
it amazing how it all changes, doesn't it? Like I sit in the host seat, I reckon Ryan just gave me a bunch of shit the whole time I sat there. You meant mate, and now you're the one copping it. So I like it. Yeah. I'm enjoying this third seat very much so.
And you know what? He's gone ranking 164, ranking 163, up yours. There you go. Yep. You got no hope.
Not still young, Robbie. There is a good chance that he can turn on you. So let's just wait and see how it goes at the end of the night.
The only thing I'm going to say is I think that's actually a pretty good call. I mean, Richmond's game plan at the moment is, hey, the best player in the world comes to town in Marcus Bontempelli and we don't pop a tag on him. So Rankin could go to town. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Genius.
100%.
Genius.
And there's no GWS teams this week. So my guess is actually going to be brought to you by the man himself, who looks a lot like Tom McCarthy from the West Coast Eagles. It's Ryan from Astute Newstead. Use the promo code INSIGHT for all your residential and home loan needs. He's helped us lads out a lot. He's helped out Braino. He's helped out Matrix. Obligation free, doesn't charge you a cent, and always looks after you and finds the best deal for you. So his link is in the description below. Click on that if you want some help from the man himself.
I'm telling you, he can't fool me. I know I used to say that he was Joe Danaher, but Tom McCarthy is just an absolute dead ringer, except Ryan's probably got a foot on him, I reckon. Oh, sorry. Yeah. A lot on him and a few inches as well, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. Let's get stuck into the games tonight, shall we? And they're going to be brought to you by the Standard Squeeze, so helping you drink responsibly and conveniently. Use the promo code IFS2025 to get yourself 15% off everything in store. Now, we're kicking it off tomorrow night, Port Adelaide versus Carlton. And Robbie, I'm going to start with you, mate, because some big news this afternoon is that there's 2 outs for Carlton, one being Matty Carroll, who people aren't going to be happy with, but Pitnet's been dropped as well. TDK, solo ruck against Port Adelaide. How do you think this goes?
Well, I mean, it changes the question at the top there, doesn't it? But it's TDK goes to town. I think Vossi's sort of having a look at it and going, we're going to change things up. What was working? There's a lot of heat on Michael Voss right now. I mean, we've talked heaps on this show before how that was one of those lineups that if we were asked to be a coach, that would be one of the lineups that I'd be picking. So I think TDK goes to town. He does his job very similar to a Jackson when he's the sole ruck, and I think he's going to put up a big score and hopefully get that ball moving. And he's going to have a big game for sure.
Yep, Squid. It's going to be, I believe Port Adelaide have named both rucks, both Sweet and Vicentini. Yep. Is that going to be any difference?
Well, it definitely didn't work last week against Sydney because Grundy absolutely bathed them both. But I am very much looking forward to this match, and it has nothing to do with actual football. Just want to see the winner because if you don't know, Dan does footy. Dan Gorringe has a bet with the Adelaide Oval. And if Carlton lose, Dan has to shave his head. If Port Adelaide lose, they have to call the Adelaide Oval the Dan Does Footy Oval. And I have never wanted Carlton to win more in my life because that's fucking hilarious.
Wow.
I don't know what it's
saying that they lost to North last week, so they're fucked.
For how long do they have to do that? Like, what are that? What's the? How long?
I'll just be a week.
Let's hope a week at least. That'd be great. I just want to see it on the AFL app next week. Whoever Port Adelaide... Oh, no, they don't play anymore because it's the end of their 3-game homestand. But I just want to see Dan Does Footy Oval just on something because that's hilarious.
How's deadly? Am I back in 2023 or what? Good to see you in the chat, mate, but you weren't born in 2023, mate, so you keep those little lips to yourself. Now, Doherty, his role across half-back, I think it sticks, Squid. I think since he's gone back to halfback, I'm not saying Carlton look better, but he's getting a lot of the ball. We've seen that he's scored a couple of tons and a 99, and this is all a result of him getting 10 or more marks per game. So it's a lot of that chip mark across the back line, which correlates into Carlton being shit.
Yes.
Carlton are going to continue to be shit, so you would think that that would mean that Doherty's going to get plenty of ball down back, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, I've actually dug into a couple of numbers of why Carlton are so shit, because I had a conversation with a Carlton fan today who was saying to sack Voss. It's not, I mean, look, Voss's game plan's not great. They're chipping around when they're down 10 goals. It's probably not the go, I would say. That's not how you win football games, pretty obviously. But it's actually their inside 50s kicking is what is letting them down. They are last by an absolute mile for inside 50 kicks to advantage that goes on to create scores. Not just goals, scores. So basically, they're kicking inside their forward 50, rebounding it, and then either the other team is scoring or it's going to the likes of Doherty, which is going very well for Doherty because when you get rebounds, you get the extra points, you get the interceptions, going very nicely for Doherty. So let's hope that Carlton still can't remember how to kick, and then it just rebounds straight back into Doherty. Doherty gets points. I really like it, Horse. You called this earlier, and now we've got stats to be backing it up.
Yeah, I bought him in a couple of weeks ago, and he did cop a 70 and a 99 last week. Is that really what I want by the end of the year? No, but it's consistent scoring, especially through the bye round. So don't mind it at all. But I guess the big thing, Cripps has been struggling. Chera has been consistent, but Robbie, Cripps, so he missed training today. He's ill. They believe that he's right to go, but 24 hours, it's not really that much time to get yourself right if you're not on the training track the day before a game.
Yeah, not at all. I was going to talk about that with the TDK, but I saw it coming up. Like, Cripps, he's just such an interesting player. He's so inconsistent, but they need him to lift. You can't have a guy sitting there, dual Brownlow medalist, on a 3-round average of, 73.7 and a 5-round average of 88.2. He's just not doing enough for him. Like, you look at the players that are sitting at the top there, they should be the bonus players that Chera's found his consistency, the Georgie Hewitts that's left off the chain a little bit now. Captain Courageous has to stand up. He has to be the one out of the guts with TDK that steps up and gets this ball moving to allow the players like Doherty to sit back on the halfback flank and do the role that he needs to do. So, look, if they don't get any lift out of him, especially going up against Port Adelaide's midfield, they're going to struggle to get the game on their terms.
For sure.
Love it.
Well put. Squid, Rosie. So he's gone back to a midfield, right? A midfield role with Pickles struggling with that shoulder injury. But we've seen Ken Hinckley come out today and say that Bergman won't be telling the other team that he's sick this week. But Bergman will be going to a defensive role this week.
Honestly, it's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard is that he walked up to Heaney and went, "Hey, good luck today, mate. I'm a little bit crook, so probably don't play your best. That'd be awesome." Heaney's just sitting there going, "Barbecue chicken, here we go. Let's absolutely take the piss out of this bloke."
Yeah.
You idiot. But yeah, carry on.
The only time I've ever done that, if anyone knows Western Australia, is playing out in Sunday League in Kelmscott. Had a big night the night before. At halftime, just walked out to my teammate, opponent, and just went, "Mate, stop nudging me. I'm about to vomit." And I did end up proceeding to run off the ground, needing to vomit, and I had the nickname Chucky for the rest of the season. But that's the only time I'm telling someone I'm sick is because I don't want to vomit on them.
No
So
worries,
if you're really
Chucky.
smart, you would have vomited on them and then gained yourself an advantage because then the other bloke would have been hurling as well. And then that's just an advantage to take. But good work, Chucky.
I reckon Rosie's got to go to halfback. I reckon Rosie's got to become that versatile player. I liked what he did at halfback. They should be looking at the footage of that first half against Hawthorn, and that should be the brand of football that they should be playing. They came out there and showed they played a game that was like their grand final against Hawthorn, and Rosie off halfback is the way to go. And I reckon he should actually have that versatility that he might be able to then move to the half forward flank as well to just change it up, do a bit of a Shawnee Burgoyne and make that type of move.
100%.
Love
Yep. Can we afford to fade Butters?
No.
I don't think so. I think he's just too good.
Not at all.
Especially this game.
I actually brought him in first before. I'm one of those that sort of waited a little bit because for everyone who's listening as well, this year I've really heavily focused on the head-to-head league, so I'll really want to make that clear. But I sort of waited a little bit on Bont with that kind of move just because of the head-to-head league, and I'm sitting second in that league at the moment as well. So he had the big score. But for me, Butters had to come in, and you look at the round 11, 100, 143 against GWS, 101 versus Melbourne, 130 against Sydney. You can't fade him. You got to have him, and you got to have Bont in your team, and now's the time to have him in for sure.
I don't have Butters, and it hurts.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. But also, Dale makes a good point. Do you reckon Chincotta goes to him? I mean, look, Chincotta hasn't really been tagging that much this season, but we know if there's someone, they have gone to Butters before. So, but then
Butters be tagged?
off the chain.
Can Butters be tagged? Is he one of those can't tag type?
We've seen Chincotta do it. Like, I don't know if it was 2 years ago or last year, but Chincotta definitely got the upper hand on Butters at one point where he went to him at like half time and Butters only had like 4 touches for the half. And that's when everyone was like, oh my God, look how good Chincotta is as a tagger.
You might be honest, though. He's only gone 98, 98, and 84 against Carlton.
That's right.
So there you go.
Exactly. Chincotta.
Yep. You know, there's a lot of ball to go around Carlton's backline too. I just did some quick stats. Nick Haynes is nearly averaging 95 in his last 5 rounds. Yep, that's right. The washed bloke from GWS is nearly averaging 100. So,
do you want a fun fact? Nick Haynes is actually, in the last 10 years, the most intercept marks by a defender is obviously Jeremy McGovern. Nick Haynes is 4th, which is unreal to think of. It goes McGovern, Andrews, Nick Haynes. Use that for your trivia, boys.
Love it. We know who rucks for Port Adelaide now. I don't think Liddy is an option or a rookie option because we will have others that if you want to bring in some nuffs at the back end of the year, you can do so. But now is the time to get yourself to – it is the last week of the best 18. So whether it's this week or next week, just get yourself to 22, 23 on field. We know 22 players count as of next week, and then you can work yourself out from there. Are either of you guys VCing or captaining anyone from this game?
I was going to do Butters before Dale reminded me about Chincotta, and now I'm not going to do it. So, nope, I'm leaving it and probably going to go elsewhere.
No,
yeah,
I was thinking about it as well, but I won't touch it at the moment. I think there's some other options, especially when you've got the bye rounds. It makes it a little bit easier to make those last-minute calls.
Yeah. Thanks, Dale.
Robbie, since you've been gone, mate, Kerry O'Keefe's been in the chat. He's actually on his way to the on the flight to the West Indies, I believe, quite soon too. So
I noticed the skull comments in there a little bit. Very good.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah. He's quite funny. He's got some long schlong stories that no doubt he'll pop in the chat soon. Sorry, tips, boys. Port Adelaide for me.
Yeah, we're going to get a ball dang orange. As much as I want to see the name change of the ground, I just think Carlton are ass. And if they diss up that shit against North Melbourne, Port should belt them at home.
Cripps plays, Carlton win. That's what I'll go with. Cripps doesn't play, I'll go with Port.
You realize death starting early.
Cripps played last week and they still lost to North.
I know. I just think there's a lot of heat on them this week, and I just think they might find a little something. I don't know.
Because they lost to North.
Last question before we move on from that game, lads.
North.
If Carlton lose this week, is this the end of Voss?
I think so, but I think that's probably like an easy way out of this option to get the supporters back on track because they've just been blaming him for so long. Yeah, the game style's not great, but geez, they need someone to be able to tidy up these forward 50 entries because they have been arse. I can see why Kerno gets so pissed off because these kicks are going on his head, over his head, at his feet, or well to the side. So, yeah, they need to do something there.
Yeah, I say yes. The luckiest thing that ever happened to Voss was they played Richmond round 1. If that happened later rounds, he was gone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good call. And that was
Let's
hilarious.
move on. Let's move on to Friday night, Sydney versus Western Bulldogs at the SCG. Now let's get straight into it because Bonds, he bounced back in a big way last week. If you don't have him, I'm just going to say it out aloud. You need to bring him in because he always pulls out the 180s. Now that we've seen a 180 and how easy he made it look last week, I don't really think Sydney have anyone to go with him either, do we, Rob?
No, and they've shown that they're sort of playing a little bit different with the whole James Jordan kind of move and things like that. I think they're getting their players back. I think they're going to start backing in their players a little bit more. I think they're running with a little bit of freedom. I think this season will be what it is, and I think they're just enjoying getting their players back and getting a few runs on the board. They might already be looking a little bit to 2026, but this is just a free run, which is kind of dangerous when you still look at Sydney's list and the players that are back in there now. So, yeah, Bonds a must back in. He'll be coming in for me this week as much as I love Sheldrick. Sheldrick will be the upgrade to Bont this week.
Mm-hmm. Nice move.
It's also Bond's 250th. So, I mean, 250 of the best, in all honesty. Let's be honest. And I hate the fact that the tournament's come to an end.
Do you know what? Could he or would he have been this good, Squid, if he didn't lose to you in that under-14 grand final?
Nah, I built resilience for him. And
There we go.
It shows. It definitely shows.
It does. Mm-hmm. Ed Richards, welcome to Premium World. This guy is an absolute gun. Lethal left foot, uses the ball so well, and just even when he's got a tagger on him, he still finds way to get the ball. So I think that in years to come, he's the new man now through the midfield for the Western Bulldogs. Robbie, Sam Darcy. Is there a more enjoyable player to watch in the AFL than Sam Long Schlong, Big Sticks, whatever you want to call him? He's massive.
Yeah, he's pretty impressive, isn't he? I think I'll say this. He's good to watch. I think there's other players that I enjoy to watch. Where I think Sam Darcy is the most enjoyable is when he's at full stretch and that ball just put up there. That's the category that I'll put him in. At full stretch, no one's getting near him, and it's pretty impressive to watch what he's doing. And it continues to show how humans are just genetically changing, aren't they? Like you look at the NBA, you look at the AFL. We've talked about it for a while about that big-bodied, tall midfielder and like a Paddy Cripps. But now we're seeing like Sam Darcy to be able to do what he's doing now is really impressive, really impressive. And it's been handy for him to have Jamar Ugle-Hagan out because he's been able to go into that role and do a little bit of something. I mean, we're talking about now Norton probably being one of the most overrated players in the AFL because you're seeing what Sam Darcy's doing. They're going to try and work out what they're going to do with all those positions. But yeah, I'll throw this question out to you from a fantasy standpoint then. So I'm sitting here at the moment and I don't have Bont and I don't have Darcy just yet. We talk about Bont must buy in this week, and I talked about that's probably going to where I'm going. Is it hold him out for one more to get Darcy in at his price this week? Because Bont might not jump up too much, where Darcy will.
Darcy averages 117 outside of that injury game that he had.
One more time.
Darcy averages 117 SuperCoach points per game outside of that injury game that he had.
Do we feel confident with that?
I do.
So I think Darcy in this week and then wait Bont one more from a head-to-head league standpoint?
Who the shit is stopping Sam Darcy in this game? Tom McCartan is Sydney's biggest defender, and he's 15 centimetres shorter than Darcy. 15! They kick the ball this much higher, and there's no one that can stop him. He's going to... As soon as the ball comes down, he's going to take the piss. It's outrageous. The Wembanyama of the AFL, like, also too, the fact that he can kick on both feet is a fucking cheat code. Someone that tall should not be able to be that coordinated. That's bullshit. I can't even kick on my left foot.
This is the genetics conversation. It's getting outrageous. It's crazy to see. To add to that question, F6 at the moment is Hewitt and M8 is Sheldrick. That's my dilemma this week.
I'd upgrade Hewitt before I'd upgrade Sheldrick.
I think I might. That's where I might have to go. One more week without Bont.
Elijah Hewitt or George Hewitt?
No, Elijah Ford.
Yeah. Okay. My mind went elsewhere. Carry on.
And they're my final pieces. Yep.
Beautiful. Callum Mills. Is he a must-have, lads?
I'm considering, but I'm not sure if I'd use must, but I'm definitely interested. I think this is a solid game for him as well. He looked very nice last week. And just Sydney's ball movement is looking so much better with him, Errol, Papley, these likes. Back in the side, they look more complete like they did in the grand final. Or not in the grand final, but leading up to the grand final. They looked arse in the grand final. But yeah, they looked a lot better. And I think Mills is going to be a big part of that too. He's running off halfback. Very, very nice.
Yep. I won't repeat, but I like what he said. It's not a must, but he was for me last week. That was a perfect in. But I love his ball movement, and with their full squad, he looks even better. I think we're in the world, though, at the moment now where we're seeing, back in the day, we always got our DPPs and we put them into defense or put them forward. We're seeing more defensive mids now, I reckon, actually in the midfield, because if you get the right defensive role, you're just getting bulk points at the moment. So you can move a couple of those defensive mids actually becoming premium midfielders, and Mills can go up into your defense if you want.
Sure. And now that we're touching on that with the new role change for Blakey, as we spoke about last night, and Mills being back there, I think it makes Roberts expendable. And if you had an ability to trade Roberts, I would. Because while 85s and 90s are great, they're not going to win you a league.
Agreed.
Yep.
There you go.
That'll be a move at some point. I think that I'll hold until finals. And when I get to finals, then that's that perfect person to like move out to a massive primo come finals, just to make sure you get your full primo and you consider him a primo. And then you make sure you keep a couple, especially if you finish in that top 4 and you've got a double chance, keep those trades. You don't know what could happen. But when you feel a little bit in that safe zone, he's a perfect player to get him out and then just take your plethora of picks of who's in the top 6.
For sure. Goulden, he has made an immediate impact, but I would probably wait a week given that was his first game back last week. And then if you really want to bring him in as a pod, you can do that next week. But yeah, not just yet. Grundy, though, Squid, he's back in a big, big way.
Huge, absolutely huge. And that was very, very nice for me to bring him in, as you brought in Wits and I brought in Grundy, and they did pretty much the same goddamn thing. So that's all right. Let's see how my choice goes compared to yours coming up now. But I can't tell if I like this matchup against Tim English. It's going to be weather dependent. So hopefully Grundy can do enough for me.
Do you know what Grundy's 3-game average is?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
3-round average 158.3, 5-round average 143.8.
The best in the AFL.
Look, it's outrageous, and I think you're seeing sort of that little bit of Collingwood Grundy come back out in him at the moment, which is nice to see because he at his best was crazy. Your nervousness is this week. You're spot on, Squid, which is 96, 86, and 69 against Western Bulldogs in his last 3 outings. Yeah. So maybe the Tim English matchup doesn't work for him too well. But I like him. I think he was a handy pick for those players that made that Gawn move, and you're the one that pulled the trigger. But it was nice for me to put one nice little good comment in our chat line that we had about maybe Grundy being an option.
Damn right.
Hey, Robbie. Apparently, you know your stuff from the Skull. Yet another upgrade from Deadly. I know that he's in the chat too, so he'll like that. Are we going to VC anyone in this game, lads?
Nah.
You don't think Bont in his 250th could do something?
You could VC Bont in it, but it's one of the ones, mate. I've tried so hard to watch the games to see where the players go, and that lockout comes quickly now, so you don't really get much of a chance. If you saw Jordan go, you wouldn't want to, but I don't mind Bont as a VC option for sure in this game. The one to watch is Libba now, with Treloar definitely being out and all those types of things. Is he going to go back into the midfield and play that role that we love him to play? And the reason I've got him in my side, I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I think Bont's a good chance for a VC option in this game.
I think with Libba out as well, before we move on, lads, it also helps those that have Matt Kennedy as well as that nice little pod option in the forward line. We know Hurl's brought him in. I've got him in draft leagues. I don't have him in the classic Supercoach, but with that DPP, very nice to have.
One quick one. The one thing to be mindful of Bont is at the SCG. I think he plays Marvel and other grounds better. That said, his last 2 games at the SCG against the Swans, 109, 131.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Bailey Dale also looking like he's got a bit of a niggle as well, which is concerning.
He should be right, though. I did have someone, our Western Bulldogs man, contact us today. Not Treloar. Bont and Dale had lighter days on the track. They will be fine to suit up. And Dale was managed through the game last week, so nothing to worry about this week.
Still worried lower leg, which makes me worried about a running halfback, which is annoying.
Who you tipping?
Swans for me, just because doggies. I mean, I know they didn't really play last week, but 5-day break, a couple of injury concerns there. Swans looked a lot better. I am just going off of what I feel because it's at the SCG, weather dependent, but that's where I'm going.
I'm going to go the Dogs unless I see some big outs or hear a little bit more information there. But I think Squiddy summed it up pretty well as to you could easily go the Swans in that one. Paying $2.35 at the moment. It's a good bet.
We talk about Lockie brambling responsibly as well, ladies and gentlemen. But Sydney are currently paying $9 to make the 8, and they're 2 games back. So they've got not a bad run home. Have a little bit of a look if you like, but remember, Lockie bramble responsibly and only gamble within your means.
Yes.
Next game, Gold Coast versus Melbourne. Oh, do we have to talk about this, Squid?
These are fucked. They are in all sorts, horse. Oh, my God. They wanted to say that they're a team and they love each other. That's not true. They all fucking hate each other. So this is going to be fun to see.
Bang! Sam Flanders. So there's been a lot of talk in the community about Sam Flanders, how he had 27 touches last week and all that sort of jazz. But I'm not keen at all.
No.
And for the simple fact that his 27 touches came on 0 CBAs. Gold Coast Suns rotate their high half forward, so they have different people at the contest. And he still hasn't cracked a ton yet this year. Like, where's the appeal?
Yeah, no appeal for me. But also, too, if there is a game, this is the game where he's apparently the club that he wants to go to next year. So maybe he wants to make a good impression and he's going to come out and really have a crack. So let's see what Flanders is going to do. But no CBAs means you can piss off. And I'm not trusting 27 disposals.
No CBAs or no running off half-back role where he was scoring a ton every single game last year. I think he finished with a ton in every single game. He might have missed one in the 90s or something like that. But
last 2 games of the year, yeah.
But unless it shows where my season was when I didn't take too much notice of the last 2 games. I think I want to watch it and I want to see what kind of role he's playing because I'm now looking for 2026. And as you said, Squiddy, if he moves teams, that'll be an interesting one where I think everybody will look to jump on him. He's sitting at 378,000. He's dropped 263,000 for the year. So he's one that might put on your cheap list for next year if he's in the right role.
He's dropped more money than what most rookies have made this year.
Damn. And he was Mr. Reliable last year. Just absolutely Mr. Reliable last year. Yep.
Squid, this next one's for you.
Yes.
Noah Anderson plus People's First Stadium equals.
That is naughty. That is a big score. That is a big score. And coming up against the Ds where they all hate each other, oh, yeah, baby.
He could go 155 here.
Easily. They belted him at the G this year by like, what was it, 50 points or something like that? And Noah, I'm pretty sure Noah had a pretty bloody good game in that too. So, yeah, this could be dangerous for Noah Anderson.
He's got a cracking record at home.
Oh, what was it last year? He averaged at home was like 128 and then away was like 80. Like, outrageous.
His last game at People's First Stadium, he got 146 against Fremantle. But in his last 3 of his last 5 games, he's gone 152, 146, 139.
He loves it. He loves it up there. He loves the sun.
I'm so surprised Rouse in more teams than him. Still in more Rouse in more teams.
He was a lot cheaper.
Matt Rao got to about 430K at one stage.
Yeah,
which
that's
is
true.
Got him. Matt Rao.
Yeah. Speaking of Matt Rao, he got a contract extension.
Good. I like to say that. Fuck off, Geelong. I don't know how you have salary cap. We all know you're cheating, so you're not allowed to get Matt Rao. Apparently, they want Butters and Harley Reid and something. Piss off. Go away. Stop giving people farms and money and cows full of money. You're a goddamn disgrace. Go away.
I think it's a perfect contract for him as well. He's done the timing right. I think he gets a good amount of time to see where the club's at, whether they actually move into this premiership window or not. They're probably one of the most improved sides this year. They're playing 10 times better than they have before. And then he has an option of whether he wants to come back to Melbourne when he's probably in his prime and get the contract at the right time or stay and be in that premiership window. So, yeah, really good contract to sign.
Basic maths, quick maths. Nando's plus People First Stadium times D's equals Squid.
Barbecue chicken.
Barbecue chicken alert. Max Gawn versus Jared Witts.
Oh,
so this will be a good matchup. So they're both, Maxi's probably a little more mobile around the ground, but they're both 6'100" and they're both good tap ruckmen. How do you see this one going, Squid?
Nullify each other. I'm pretty sure from memory this has been a bit of a nullify game for both of them, SuperCoach points wise. So this will be a big test for both. I will be watching very intently, but I think it's just going to be, both of them probably around like the 90s, 100s area, and that's probably without none of them going huge.
No, Jared Witts averages about 110 in his last 3 against Melbourne. What about Gawn? I don't actually have his stats in front of me, but
he's under. He's in the 90s. He's
in the 90s, yeah.
80. It's a tricky one. He had a massive game 3 games ago, though. So his last 2 were 88 and 97. But he did score a 130. I mean, Witts had a few injuries, so it might have been one of those weird ones.
I think it was one of those ones against Ned Moyle.
Ned Moyle, I was about to say.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's hard to tell. Yeah, I won't be touching. I think Squiddy summed it up really well. What we do need to see from the Ds are going to want to see him take those contested marks. They've been talking obviously a lot now about who goes in that All-Australian first ruck spot. What does stand out for him above Cherry is that contested mark stat, which he's sitting on about 32, I think, contested marks, and Cherry's only on about 7 for the year. So that's one of those ones that has a big discrepancy, but we'll forget All Australia at the moment. Melbourne's going to need Max Gawn to take some marks around the ground, but it'll be a good match to watch.
Next, Track needs to bounce back after his 68 last week. And as Skull says, Track needs to get out of the kitchen and into the SuperCoach Ton Club this week. 100%. Do we have any interest, Squid, in any other Melbourne player, or can you just put a fork in them?
No, they're done. They're done, Horse. They're yelling at each other. I don't know what we're meant to do with the Ds. So, no, I can't get around the likes of Rivers. You can maybe get excited about Pickett, but the price tag's a bit too high. He can get good scores, but you're not paying full price for him. You'd rather him at a discount. So keep an eye on him, Cozzy. Other than that, I can't really get around it. Frothies is already checked out and having a crack at his skipper, so not about that.
Piece of shit. Yeah.
You know, when you review your early decisions at the start of the year, one of the best ones that I'm so proud of myself that I didn't go with, like Rivers was one of the first picked in my side when I just had a look at the squad and just thought he was really going to step up into that midfield this year. And I'm so glad I didn't pick him. I think he's a quality football though, but he needs to get his role right.
That 130 was against Wits, and Wits had 115. So
there you go. Cheers,
there you go. When we're talking VC and C options in this game, I probably wouldn't touch Max, just given that it is a bit of a neutral matchup between him and Wits. But I would slap, if I had Noah Anderson, I'm doing this in draft leagues, I would put the VC on him.
Oh, fuck yeah. People's first against the Ds. Gimme.
I know this will sound silly, but he has done the job pretty well. Does Oliver get a role to someone?
No.
Okay.
It's way too hot for Clary's pasty white skin to be out there and running around the whole game. He needs more time on the pine.
Just quickly, I've missed your one-word answers, Horse. I love them. They're the best.
Yep.
Radio, when you've done a good job.
Radio 101. I love it.
That's when you've done a good job.
Yeah.
If Horse gives you like 5 words, it means you talk too long and he wants you to shut up and then keep going.
I'm getting critiqued live on air here.
I didn't know how much I missed it till I got on here. It's like you don't know how hungry you are until you bite into a zinger burger.
I think
a zinger box upsized with potato gravy on the side.
Actually, Horse, have I got a quick second to tell you a story today?
Yes, of course you do.
I went to the Dirty Bird today, right? And I wanted a 3-piece of the boneless hot and crispy. And you know how they're like, they're like that big. Like they give you a fuck all, right? I get my bag. I put it down. I go, geez, that's a bit heavy. I open it up, and it's one of those boxes that the zinger boxes come in, and it was full of crispy fried chicken. There was about 8 pieces, and I nearly lost my dick. I paid $3.95 for like 9 pieces of crispy hot and spicy boneless. Oh my god, what a day it's been! I felt so sick.
I'm so proud.
It was It was one of those ones where I was like, I feel bad not eating this all. You know, I can't let this go to waste.
That's hot.
It is hard.
Yep.
Gold
post for me.
Look, I know I've said a lot of bad things about the Ds, which are all true, but also too, the Gold Coast Suns hate playing the second half of the season. So what balances what out? I'm gonna go the Suns but I wouldn't be surprised if they choke this.
Nah, yeah, Suns for sure. They're a good side. They're a different side. I like them.
I'll put a bit of effort into this one, finding the logos for these lads, because Squiddy's a North man and Hawk is a Hawks man. So we're going retro with Hawthorn versus the Kangaroos here on Insight 415 down at Tassie. Let's start with the Hawks. So all Hawks questions will be directed towards you, Robbie, and all Kangaroos questions will be directed towards you, Squid. So, John Newcomb, what are we doing, Hawk?
Yeah, well, you shouldn't have him in your side. He's a bit of a he's an interesting player, isn't he? Look, Hawks have been like this for a while. Even when we had our three-peat years and things like that, we weren't getting many Brownlow votes. We didn't have any Brownlow medalists and things like that. He does his role. He's a good player, but I don't think you can risk him in your SuperCoach sides at the moment until we really understand what that looks like. He's sitting with a 99.5, which looks worse than it is if you could be 101, but he's dropped off in the last couple of rounds. 88.7, 93.2. Hasn't made a difference without Warple not being there. Yeah, don't touch him at the moment. If you do have him, you got to move him.
Is he is Warple back this week?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I don't believe so. I'll have a look.
I think Sicily's out too.
Or, yeah. Oh, look, you guys keep chatting.
Well, while you're looking, let's go to North Melbourne and we'll go back to Hawthorn. Cherry Squid, down game last week. Bounce back game this week down at Tassie, small ground, monstering little people.
First of all, I want to know, why does that hawk logo look like a pigeon that's drank bleach when it was born? That thing is down. Yeah, I like X in this game. I think Meek's a good matchup for him. Two big bodies there. Meek is happy to throw his body around, same as Tristan Sherry. But yeah, those poor Newcomb and Dylan Moore and whoever else wants to go into the midfield, because get ready to that. When that ball hits your hands, you are getting slammed by the helmet.
Yeah, big helmet, not little helmet.
Definitely big helmet, not little helmet.
Yep. LDU owners, what are you doing, Squid, if you got him?
It looked a lot better last week. Things were starting to turn. I think it's just got to be, I don't know, if you're holding, you probably got to hold now, just keep it going, because North are actually starting to play some good footy, but it's not overly appealing with how his game translates to SuperCoach. He can get the odd big scores, but it's not like when we were force feeding him 3 years ago. So I'm still probably hold though, just until North start to play like shit.
His high score this year is 117 against Richmond, and he's only one other time gone over 110.
Yucky.
Probably,
but if you've held him this long, what else are you going to do? You're going to sell him out for bottom? You may as well just keep cracking.
Is Kurt just season-long keeper?
I can't see why not. He needs to touch up his field kicking a little bit to be able to really bring in those big scores, like we saw. What was it 2 weeks ago when he scored 80 points in the second half, and he was on 10 in the first half with about 13 disposals. So it just needs to tidy that up. We saw a bit more of it last week against Carlton. So yeah, I'm still happy to hold Kirch, but if you want to go sideways to Mills or whatnot, or you bring in McCarthy from West Coast, then by all means.
Yep. She's God. We're just locking him in now, aren't we? We called it that he was going to bounce back, and happy days.
Yep, it's happy days. You worked out how to play it in the midfield forward role, so you just need a couple of weeks to be able to get acquainted with it. Now let's see how he goes against a very good opposition in Hawthorn.
Beautiful. Robbie, let's go back to you, mate. Any Warple?
Yeah, he's on a test. Him and Sis are both on a test. So Warple's got the cork quad with the test, and Sis has the hip and abdominal test as well. So
Sis won't play.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there.
Sis won't play. He fucking hates Tasmania. He won't play. And I don't blame him.
There's your hot take. There you go.
Real hot take.
Hot take.
You're welcome.
Dylan Moore. Is there any interest there, mate?
Oh, I was just
he popped off last week.
He played really. Yeah. I was listening to Squiddy there before. You get these certain players that are just great players that maybe don't resonate sometimes to SuperCoach. Like LDU is one of them. Newcomb, they probably sit together there that you can't really just trust them, but they're great players and they're putting in great effort and doing a good job. But it's different in the real world to SuperCoach sometimes, and I think we just have to be aware of it. But I think Dylan is one of those sometimes, a high half forward, and he's playing the genuine high half forward role. But he's also doing it with Jack Ginnivan as well, who's playing that high half forward role. So I think you've got to look at where they're playing and what ground. And I mean, he had his 162, massive game. Other than that, he hasn't been that consistent. I wouldn't be taking the risk. I think there's too many other better options. You named Matthew Kennedy before. I think there's others you can go to if you want to play around that price tag. Dylan Moore wouldn't be one I'd touch, but if you have him, you've just got to stick it out with him now. And again, maybe wait till finals time if you're in a head-to-head league and go from there.
Dylan Moore's role reminds me a lot of the Sam Flanders role.
Yep.
That's valid. Yep. That is valid. Also, too, Dylan Moore obviously not scoring as well when he's not getting the umpires to kiss him on the dick. So that's a bit unfortunate. It just goes hand in hand with that.
You also got to remember they're playing a lot more of the younger guys as well. So I don't think they're throwing a few players around as much. So like you've got Sam Butler who's now coming in and they're giving him a crack in the midfield. When you had it steady, where you had Will Day, Newcomb, Warple, and the Irishman. I've just had
Connor Nash.
Thank you, Connor Nash. They threw some more in there. So like then Dylan Moore would go in and stuff like that. They'd throw the magnets around a little bit. At the moment, they're kind of playing line 1 and line 2 in that midfield, and the others are sticking to their halfbacks, wingers, and half forwards. So he's not getting as much of that midfield time as we remember.
Mm-hmm. All right, boys. Pick a captain if you had to pick one from your club respectively for this weekend.
Oh, easy. Mine's X.
Did you just say Toby Pink? Okay. Who's yours, Hawk?
Hey.
I don't really like any of it. Hawthorn's never great to put a captain on, but let's go. You know what? Lord Meek likes to step it up against big time players and show that he's a player himself. So we'll go the Meek v Cherry option there. Go.
I'll tell you who I definitely wouldn't put it on horse. And that's old 0 goals, Marby old Chol, because he's about to get the titty right up him. 0 goals, Chol. Toby Pink, baby.
Who's going to win, lads? Are you just going to say North and Hawk's going to just say Hawthorn?
What did I just say? I said we have Toby Pink. Obviously, I'm going with North.
I say Hawthorn with a lot of confidence.
A lot of confidence.
I'm aware that we lost by 124 points last time against the Hawks in this stadium. But what I will say is guarantee that this is going to be a shit game. Dog shit game. You know why? So the AFL can turn around and be like, see, I told you we need a roof. This game is going to be fucking awful. And it's just North are going to win in a dogfight.
Before we move on, Squid, as I spoke to you today, mate, we've done a bit of research on North Melbourne. And if they had have beaten Essendon,
yes.
If they had have won and not drawn to Brisbane,
yes.
Was it Port Adelaide? They lost by 9 points.
9 points to Port, yep.
And was there another game where they were really close as well?
6 points to Freo.
That's right. That'd be on percentage just out of the 8.
That's correct. And what I will tell you as well is, Horse, Toby Pink played in 7 North Melbourne wins. Games without Toby Pink, North have lost 53. So I'm just saying there's a common denominator here, and it's a beautiful red mustache.
He's not talking about yours either, Deadly.
It's not like he was injured. He just didn't get picked.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was shit.
And now he's clamping down all these big forwards.
That's not like making That's not like making the comparison to Will Day being out. Like Pick didn't get picked.
Who?
We'll see. We'll watch. I enjoy it. I do like North. I like where they're on the up. Moving on.
Who?
Collingwood versus West Coast, Marvel Stadium. Talk about shit games that will have a roof over the top of it.
Carry on.
Yeah, I know. I don't really want to talk about it either, mate. But Nick Dacos, this is where my VC will be this week.
Yeah, well, Hawk said that Bradley Hoff's probably going to go to him. And I'll tell you what, I could not give a fuck. VC or Nick Dacos. If he had 30 and a goal against Marcus Windhager, who's one of the best taggers in the league, what the fuck is Hoff going to do? Dacos is going to have 75. VC on Dacos.
In the first half.
It's a smart VC play. I wouldn't be confident with the C, but I like the VC play. I think that's a great call.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. For those that need another ruck, lads, is anyone interested in Darcy Cameron?
I am this game. I'll tell you that much because he's going to pants West Coast, and I'll be very much looking at Cameron if you needed a ruckman.
Mm-hmm.
I like Darcy Cameron a lot. I think he's about to sign a contract, or he's already signed, taking himself off the market. I might have heard, but West Coast, I like that.
Exclusive.
He's got Carlton and Gold Coast in the next 2 after that, which I don't like as much.
No, that's horrible.
Hasn't cracked a ton against Carlton. Has only cracked a ton against Gold Coast once. That said, he got a 99 as well. But he's a good player. I think he's really coming into his own as well. He's got that job and he's doing it well. He's had some big scores against some good rucks as well. So yeah, absolutely can have confidence in him if you wanted to pick someone a bit outside the box.
Yep. For Ned Long owners, I think now or next week is the time to go off him and up into a primo. So for me, I got on him when you brought it up in our little group chat a little while ago, Robbie. And he made me a lot of cash and very happy for that. But he Who did he turn into? I'll have to have a look. I think he turned into Bailey Dale for me. So
Daily Bale.
very happy. Very Daily Bale. Sorry, wrong name. So he's done his job, but you've got to treat him as a cash generator. You can't treat him as a keeper, because if you hold him for too long and he's pumping out 80s, that's effectively going to burn you.
Yeah, but Horse, this is against West Coast.
And
let's have that conversation next week.
Okay. So you'd hold him this week?
Well, bloody yes, it's West Coast, mate. But also, too, hearing Jordan De Goey's starting to get back into the swing of things as well. So that'd probably be Ned Long's replacement right there.
Yep. Is there any love for any other Collingwood players?
No.
Not for me.
No. I mean, look, I respect what they're doing.
Who are you a fan of?
I'm still a fan of Josh Dacos and his role. I like Josh's role at the moment. I don't say it with too much confidence, and he's just cracked the 500K as well. So don't say it with too much confidence. Mate, one of the biggest unsung heroes still always is Jack Crisp. He's on a 108 3-round average and a 107 5-round average as well. That said, his price has probably gone up a little bit too high now. But they're the other two that I sort of look at if you're looking for a couple of PODs. Chris was only in 1.2% of sides. Dacos is sitting in just 5% of sides. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just hard to trust Collingwood players when they don't care. The game plan is not player dependent besides Nick Dacos. They don't care what else happens.
No. Not for SuperCoach, but if you're looking for a little play again on Sportsbet this weekend, I really like Pat Lipinski across half forward for some touches and a couple of goals as well. You can multi 20 touches and 2 goals into about $9 on Sportsbet. Lockie Bramble responsibly. Mm-hmm. Tom McCarthy, if this role sticks, lads, he could be a genuine 23rd or a great loop option for the run home.
Yes, very, very happy with that. And that's cheap as chips, so you can't go wrong there.
Yeah, he's a must-have. Bring him in your side. I think this is where I'm sitting with Kirch at the moment in my flex position. And I think having that ability, and even like a Matty Roberts as well at the moment, I think having a look at the matchups and how you can sort of move those 3 players around to have a look at who's got the emergency and things like that, because they all have the ability to show that they can go over 100. That's how I'll be sort of playing it for a little while now.
Mm-hmm. You're a Perth man. You live in WA, mate. What's the talk like with Tommy McCarthy over there?
The talk about him at the moment is more not so much about him, but more about how it's an absolute disgrace that somebody can come from the VFL system, come across to this team at West Coast and step in and get that many disposals, look that fluent and play that well. And you got veteran players like Tim Kelly, who somehow magically gets a 2-year contract extension, and people are wondering how the hell does that happen? Wow. Why the word around is like, why do the likes of Paddy Dangerfield and people like that are happy with 1-year contracts and things like that? But West Coast are willing to give Tim Kelly, who at the start of the year came out and said, I'm losing a bit of love. He's getting 12 disposals and things like that. And you give him a 2-year extension just because Fremantle possibly hovered around with the idea that they might take him. It's not good. People are really questioning the board over here and the decisions that they're kind of making. But yeah, I think they're getting excited for McCarthy and what he can bring, but it's more about how poor the side is looking.
I really like the makeup of Tom McCarthy, Dewar as well, down back. And also this weekend, it'll be Job Shanahan, the Bendigo lad, who will be making his debut for West Coast. So very, very young down back, but you've got to play these kids. Like the list that they've got now, you'd be lucky to find probably 8 on that list, maybe even 5. That'll be part of West Coast's next premiership tilt. So
it's a no-brainer. It's a blow-up. You need to blow up and blow it up in the right way. Like, say what you want. Maybe there's players that aren't quite ready, but Clay Hall still goes back to the waffle and is tearing up on a bit of an inside midfield role. Gross is showing a little bit of potential as well. McCarthy across halfback. Dewar, you just mentioned them now. You've got to go and move Oscar Allen and get the pick that you're going to get. You've probably got to move Harley Reid because you can't tell me that he's not going to go at some point. You could end up with 3 picks inside the top 10 and 5 first-rounders in this next draft before Tassie come into it. Because
just do a Richmond. Yep.
And it's shown that it's not the worst thing. It's shown that it's not the worst thing. And just, you know what? You got to turn to your fans and actually just say, jump on board. We're rebuilding. Bloody use OKC as an example if you want. Just go through the draft and say, we're just going to blow it up for a bit and let's go. We can't just try and be this half-assed mediocre team. No.
Yep.
The only problem with that this year is that a lot of the top picks this season are tied to NDA and father son. So it's going to make it fucking hard.
I agree, but you've still got to do it. Like the team, you've got to say, we're playing the young boys. We're going to get him in and do a bit of a Richmond, which I don't mind either, which is try and find a little bit of maturity down back.
Yep.
Surely, if you're say if you're Richmond, you offer pick 2 and 3, which they currently have, to West Coast for Harley Reid. Surely West Coast go, yeah, fuck it. Let's take 1, 2, and 3.
I think so. I'm taking early picks for Harley Reid and maybe one future as well. Throw a couple of futures, even if you threw a couple of future second rounders in. If it's a lower, a team outside of the 8 at the moment. Don't get me wrong. I still believe Harley Reid is going to mature, and I still believe Harley Reid is going to be an absolutely gun player. But and even he has those dusty type capabilities when he gets his body right, gets fit, and all those types of things. But they've got to look at the future, and this isn't the basketball. This is football, where you've got 23 blokes, and you've got to get a squad, and they don't have one at the moment, and they're a long way off it.
No. If you've still got Ryan Marich, what are you doing? Sell him.
Piss him off.
Yep. But shout out to your man, Squid, the great man Puddin, retired throughout the week. Premiership hero, taken a lot of intercept marks. You shouted him out before being the number 1 in the past 5 years, was it?
10 years.
10 years.
600 and something. So that's fantastic for him. So I hate to see someone go down medically retired, but he's got to do what's best for him and his family. So to you, Jezza, hopefully you enjoy have a nice couple of frothies, which I'm sure you bloody will. You've been an absolute superstar. And honestly, from me, Hawk, Horse, and honestly, all of Australia, thank you for leading that charge, that mark in the 2018 grand final to make sure that Australia had the biggest hate watch that then led to the sheed from the boundary line. So thank you. You're a legend.
And from Skull, get another beer immediately.
Unfortunately, that was my last. That's why I was holding on to it.
Oh, no. We've spoken about VCC options, Dacos for me. Anyone else, lads?
Nah, Dacos. If you have Darcy Cameron, love it, but I don't have Darcy Cameron.
Yep, I agree.
Let's go to Richmond v Adelaide. Another game that could get real messy at the G on Sunday. Arvo. Here is when the very nice Adelaide run home into finals start. So I know I've got Jordan Dawson first there, but we're going to talk about Isaac Rankin because a lot of people have traded him off because of his pretty ordinary run before the bye. But Robbie, you've just got to hold him, don't you? He could go massive at any time.
100%. You've 100% just got to hold him. These are those moves that people went big early and trying to make some sideways moves and things like that to get their team right. But at this point of the year, you're keeping him in. They've got a good run. 100%. You got to keep him in, and you've just got to ride the roller coaster that is Isaac Rankin. Look, his absolute worst that he's dropped down is that sort of 62 against Sydney. It's not the worst that he's gone. Other than that, he's been in the 90s and the 80s, and he had a couple of big ones in the 100s. But yeah, you just got to hold him now and play it out.
Yeah. So long story short, we're holding. 100% we're holding. Jordan Dawson, though, Squid, massive captain option this week against the Tigs at the G.
Huge, love it. Yep, I'd definitely be getting all on board with that. Don't think the Tigers can do much to be able to stop what Dawson's going to be able to do.
Ben Keys.
Geezer.
He's been okay.
He's been fantastic, and you know it. You stop that slander.
Oh, I hate it.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You love him. That's our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
No. He's been okay.
He's been great.
So, Robbie, just for a bit of backstory, mate, it was in the community where if we got 100 likes on a video, I'd had to bring in Ben Keys at 350K.
Mate, I liked it. I know what's going on. I like it.
Yeah. Anyway, since then, he's gone 106, 120, 123.
He's got a one. He is the highest 3-round average in this game going forward.
I know.
How good's that? Horse, why do you hate Keys so much?
Oh, I can't get into it. We'll
is
be
it
here all day.
Is it because he kicked 5 and dashed Essendon's hopes to finals last year and absolutely took the piss
Ben Mackay had 5 goal assists to Ben Keys, and he's not even on the same fucking team.
Keys.
Can we answer a serious question though? Like,
Yeah.
I'm seeing people in a lot of chats on X and Facebook and things like that are genuinely sort of putting up, McRae or Ben Keys this week, who to bring in. Like, don't get me wrong, it's fun how this has come about. Yes, 116. Yes, 91 in the 5-round average. But surely you're taking McRae over Ben Keys. You can't trust Ben Keys.
No.
But can you?
No.
I like Ben Keys' role. I really like their run home. At his price now, I wouldn't. But at 350K, it's a stab in the dark where you're like, if it works, it works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it's made me 100K. He's got a break even of 22 this week, so he could make another 50K, could make another 100K for all I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wouldn't bring him in though. Like, realistically, I'm expecting 90 to 95 out of him for the rest of the year average. I'd be happy with that as an F6, just given how inconsistent our forwards have been. So, yes, it's Jack McRae every day of the week for your question, mate.
Yeah, going to be a fair amount of goals by the Keys in this game, just saying.
Any other Crows worth a look, Squid?
No, I mean, look, we liked, there's a couple of little bits and bobs that are bobbing around, but nothing that's sustainable enough in my eyes.
No.
Not Rory Laird?
No.
Nah, halfback Laird doesn't do it for me, and he copped that stinger last game out, so I'm not having a bar of it.
You're a big fan of Rory Laird, Robbie.
I am. 108 3-round average, 106 5-round average. He runs all day, gets his marks, gets his chips. He's pretty efficient as well. He's got the mid defense DPP. He's only 522,000. And as you said, they've got a good run home. He's going to chip the ball he takes the kick-ins. I don't mind it. He's sitting in 1.9% of teams. I think it's not a bad little pod.
Turned up 3 in his last 4 games. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about Richmond really quickly. Yes, it's tank season for the Tigers now. Prestia, he shut the bed. Hopper struggled. Nank struggled. What's next for the Tigers, Squid?
They looked fucking awful, didn't they? Just play the goddamn kids. Let's get all of them back out there. I don't care. Really, really dive into them. Let's see what we've got for coming rounds. Try a little something. But other than that, I'm not expecting much.
Smiley and Houghton should debut sooner rather than later. Hopefully it doesn't affect prices for next year because both kids could be bloody awesome. How many goals do you think the Thrill Man kicks, Robbie? Big Riley Tilthorpe.
Oof. Where are they playing?
G.
Put him down for 5+.
Bolter's playing. He's not in the baby seat in this round.
I still like 5+.
Okay.
Yeah. Captain options or VC options, it'll be Jordan
Dawson.
Yep.
Don't have the ranking one, though.
Last game of the round, it's Fremantle versus St Kilda. Remember what happened the last time Fremantle played St Kilda, and St Kilda just locked them the fuck up, didn't they, Squid?
Absolutely destroyed them. But also, what is this bullshit time? 5:10? Fuck you, Perth. Absolute fucking joke of a state. But yeah, Saints dominated them, and that was probably the last time that Freo looked like they were really, really bad. This kind of woke them up after that 60-point thrashing. So interesting to see here. But 5-10, piss off, you absolute joke of a fucking state. That is a goddamn
WA is the state. Perth is the capital city.
Of course, I don't care. They're all shit.
It's prime Kelly Underwood slot. Yeah.
It's a shit way to end the footy weekend.
I love that. I love that we have to cop the late Sunday night game when you guys have the long weekend on the Monday, and we don't have the same public holiday and things like that with you. But you just can't cop a 5-10 sit down for St Kilda and Fremantle.
Yeah, because we're a good state.
Robbie's from Melbourne.
Revolves around Victoria. Yeah, so he understands it. So it's all good.
Shout out to Mum and Dad over in Victoria.
Jack Sinclair, he will bounce back, so you will hold him. You do not pay any attention to that score that he got last week. Wanganeen Malera, or IJ, I know you're in the chat. Wanganeen Manera, McRae, and Marshall, the only SuperCoach relevant players for St Kilda. Hawk?
Yeah, he's on fire at the moment, isn't he? Even in the game that he went off the ground with a bit of HIA and things like that, he came back on and still went up a massive ton. He's looking the goods down there. He's definitely trying to show his worth at the moment and where he's going and how he's going to get back in this what this contract looks like for him as well. And it's amazing how players really step up when the time comes around that they've got to get a big contract of what that looks like. But yeah, he's a gun and rate him highly. Yep. It's going to be a really interesting game, this one, because they made Fremantle look horrendous last time.
Didn't they? Windhager, who does he go to? Sarong or Brayshaw?
Sarong?
If I quote Longmuir, Longmuir anyway, he said they put tags to 3 of our players last time and they'll probably do the same thing. So they tagged Sarong, they tagged Brayshaw, and they tagged they stopped, what's his name, running around?
Clark?
No, the forward.
Young? Tracy?
Bolton.
Right. It'll come to me in a little bit. Fredericks. They also locked up Fredericks. They just didn't let Fredericks run. So it's a bit interesting how they'll probably lock up a few players. So I think Windhager might go to Sarong and stay inside because the outside runner didn't quite work for him too well against Dacos.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good point.
Sarong's
real
good
point.
Good at the moment, though. Sarong is playing some great football.
He's popping off. Yep.
Thank God.
Luke Jackson, please, Mr. Longmuir, let this man be just ruck by himself for the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm. Damn right. It's been amazing. He's been fantastic. And also, too, I don't even mind when Darcy's in because he plays ruck rover. And it's just an unbelievable scene. He's that good. But I prefer him in the ruck because he taps it down onto the ground and then they just play 4 midfielders and he just outguns the other ruckman. It's fantastic to watch. So Jackson's unreal.
One thing that doesn't work in that favour, I put up the stat on X today that with Jackson and Darcy playing together, Fremantle win 60, or when they win, it 67% of the time it's with Jackson and Darcy versus 33% when it's only the one of them. So
look, let's Longmuir JL's come out today, or not today, sorry. His words and his quote a few weeks ago was horses for courses. So when it's coming up, when we come up against a side that, there you go. You should have grabbed a bit of that.
I should have.
When we come up against a side that requires it, which they've shown before, they did a great job on Cherry. He just was knackered in that last quarter and things like that. And it's probably tired him out a little bit against the right matchup. And Marshall might be one of those that they've got to let 2 rucks do the job and run him into the ground a bit. We've got to be honest as well. Like, let's look at it from you've given the AFL realistic answer, which is Fremantle actually have had some better wins, but we're here to talk about fantasy. Jackson, as great as he is and the numbers that he's putting up, the biggest games that he's put up against West Coast, everybody does that against West Coast. He did it against Madden at GWS. He did it against Vincentini against Port and Vincentini against Essendon. He's also had a magical run that when he's been the solo ruck, they've been playing against a poor side with a poor ruck. So I don't think we can get too bogged down into the fact that he's going to be that 140-point player against top sides like Marshall. I mean, I'm assuming Darcy's played, but his last few games, he had a 64 and a 61 against him at Marvel, and he did have a magical 154. And I don't know if that was him by himself or we've got to be careful. I think they're going to play AFL, and that's why we have to be careful with, do you bring Jackson in or do you just hold him or what it is?
Mm-hmm. Good points.
Very nice.
CKC's back, Squid.
Yeah, they are, but I'm not buying a shitload into what Freo did because there wasn't, let's be honest here, Essendon were fucking dog shit and they gave no pressure. They did absolutely nothing to be able to stop Freo at any stage, and CKC love that. So I'm not overly buying into it. Thank God Essendon aren't playing this week. Don't have to watch that rabble crap. It feels good to be back in the winners list.
And he's been muted. Shy Bolton, Hawk. We know he's inconsistent. If you have him, do we hold?
I'm muted.
Oh, I'm worried. I haven't gone anywhere near him. I put him in that Cozzy Pickett sort of realm that you sort of watch and you roll, but he hasn't excited me at all. Not once did I ever think about putting him in, even when he went on that little bit of a run. If you've got him, I'd actually be getting rid of him. I don't think the consistency's there. I'd be looking to make that move before prices change too much. And he wouldn't be, as we said, we've talked about a few forward options for people that are at decent prices. I wouldn't be touching him at 455. Nah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You have been great, Mr. Nate Fife, and I'm one of your biggest fans, mate, but I think Father Time's calling. I think it's time.
He's still a hot cunt, but yeah, you're right. He needs to learn how to kick again. He hasn't. I don't even know. I can't remember the last time I've seen him kick the ball. He just handballs it.
Mm-hmm. The president of the Punters Club, Freo winger goals versus the Saints, O'Driscoll and Sharp. Have a bit of a look, Lockie Bramble, responsibly. Would you captain anyone in this last game, Robbie?
We worry about the tags and we worry about how Freo go, so I would stay away from that one. They don't really tag off their back line, like off their forwards or their back. So, yeah, NWM's one you could sort of look at possibly, but I just don't think you're probably going to have it with too much confidence. It could be a really interesting game, but I wouldn't probably touch it.
Squid?
I'm going rogue. I reckon Cal Wilkie's going to have a great game. Don't know why. Just got a feeling.
You call Essendon shit. Give me all these stats, and then you say Cal Wilkie.
Yeah. Cal Wilkie's so good.
He's all right.
He's
all right.
I don't know. I just feel like he's gonna have a big game against Freo. I don't know why.
The likes of AJ, like just putting in there like Jackson, rucks don't get tagged Jackson, but it looks like Darcy's going to play. You just can't have that confidence there to put a captaincy on him when you don't know what it's going to look like. I love Jackson. Jackson could have a huge game. Absolutely. Jackson could sit down forward and kick 3 goals. But talking to my guys at Freo, if you actually watch Jackson and when he kicks his goals, he actually kicks his goals more when he is the ruck who's drifting forward and you're getting him back
more than a lead up,
getting the forward coming out the other way. So
bingo.
You just can't do it with confidence unless he is the solo ruck.
The president of the Punters Club has your back, mate.
I'm telling you, Wilkie's so good.
He's all right. Like Jesus, he's all right. Horse.
See, they're getting around it. I guess you just don't know football, Marge. It's okay.
I need to learn ball.
I need to watch more too because I rate Cal Wilkie, but I did. If you asked me, is he averaging over 110 in the last 3 games? I wouldn't have said yes, but he's on 112 average in the last 3 and 106 in the last 5.
Thank you. Look, I'll speak. You guys listen. It's what we do.
All right. Well, while we're talking about you speaking and us listening, there comes a time, ladies and gentlemen, where people each week tune in far and wide, whether you're in Australia, New Zealand, Zimbabwe, South Africa, England, Austria, Switzerland, Greenland, wherever you are. There's a point in a man or woman's life where they sit down, they take a deep breath, and they're like, what is the best possible thing that I could watch on TV that takes roughly 1 to 2 minutes that I know that I'm going to get the most comical value out of for the week? And the answer is always the same. And you know what it is? It's Squiddy's Squeeze of the Week. Or Cone of the Week, sorry.
Pause. Week is pissed me better. Make sure you don't stop the intro again. I'll tell you that much. Oh, jeez, Horse. But, Horse, another big week. Another big week of people that deserved their goddamn coning. Because there has been some absolute goddamn fucking disgraces. And that's being put lightly, right? I just can't believe some of the bullshit. First of all, look, I've already said it earlier, but Miles Bergman, don't go up to your fucking opponent and tell him you're sick, because that is just one of the dumbest fucking things I've ever heard. That's like me going up to Horse and being like, hey, look, Horse, I'm going to do this show sober tonight. You'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? So let's do that. I'm tossing up here, Horse, because I'll tell you what. Joel Amati has 9 shots on goal. It doesn't kick 1. Like, you're meant to be a full forward. I don't get it. That you're a disgrace. You need to pull your finger out and just really concentrate on kicking it through the big sticks. It's not that hard. But speaking of kicking it through the big sticks, I am so tempted to change McLean to Jed Walter, because how the fuck did he miss from 8 meters out directly in front? You're kidding. You're a full forward, Jed. You're young. I get that. But come on, son. You were 8 meters out directly in front. That's unheard of. I got no idea how that's done. But you know what pisses me off more than someone that misses from 8 meters out, Horse and Hawk? You're right. The umpires. My God, were they fucking atrocious in that GWS Gold Coast game. They ruined a great game of footy, and I cannot get around them for that. Side note, though, that 50 that they paid against Mac Andrew because Ben Ainsworth called 50, you fucking idiot. That's some of the dumbest shit I've seen. But also, too, the umpires, like, how they scored reviewed a behind that they thought was touched has got me fucked. Half of those decisions were awful. I don't know how they brought it in, but either way, dumb as all dog shit. It's got me fucked. And then, you know what was funny? That wasn't even the worst thing about the game. The worst thing about the game is that they've fucking fined Dimmer for flipping off the camera, and it wasn't even on the broadcast. Fox Footy released that vision 4 days later, and he got fined $2,000 for it. That is some low level.
I think it's coming out that Alistair Lynch is going to.
Don't you interrupt me while I'm coning people, Rob. Otherwise, I will cone you so goddamn quickly. I'll tell you what. Oh, you can wait. You can wait your turn to the end of the segment.
Oh, Jesus!
This is Squid's time. But look, there's only one that deserves it, and it's the AFL, you money-hungry fucking grubs. 1,000 times a week do people get this done. And just because it happens to Nick Dacos, Marcus Windhager cops a $1,000 fine and a free kick? Are we fucking kidding ourselves? I like Nick Dacos. Right? I like Nick Dacos. I think he's an excellent footballer and he should be one of the footballers. But there's no fucking way that he's going to beat the allegations of being an umpire's pet and a little bitch if we are giving out $1,500 fines for something that happens to every single player in every single game. 100%. So either two things are happening. The umpire is going, okay, we're going to be nicer to Nick Dacos because, you know, he's our little teacher's pet and we've got to make sure that he's protected at all costs. Or Nick's going up to the umpires before the game and be like, please watch out because Marcus Windhager is going to hit me. He hit him 10 seconds prior and nothing happened. So set the precedent. You can all go and get fucked, you money-hungry grubs. Rob, you may now continue. Weak as piss, be better. Bye, my man.
You have something to say, Rob?
Oh, I'm just getting my head back. No, very well. I like that. I'm surprised that there hasn't been a montage of every single hit to the chest that happened in that round. I'm just surprised that hasn't come out. Normally there's always somebody with quite a bit of time on their hands to just show and just saying, AFL, please send out 98 $2,000 fines to the AFL because absolute joke. Well played. Great cone. Love it.
Well, you've given me an idea, Rob. We've got 11 episodes, 10 now, until we reach 100 for the year. I might have to make a montage of Squiddy's Cone of the Weeks for our 100th.
Ooh. Good luck with that, horse. That is a lot of demonetization, I'll tell you that much.
It is. Might be worth it, though.
It could be, yeah, you're right. Just in segments, that should be able to get us there. I reckon that's good.
Anyway, I didn't play the end of it. That was Squiddy's Cone of the Week. Should we get stuck into some questions? Before we do, though, it wouldn't be a pod without Rob, without the keyboard warrior himself, Morel, behind the mic saying something, Robbie.
Mm-hmm. Well, some of us aren't in the crew anymore. I'm just glad that I actually set the thing back up again. It's doing all right, you know. Some of us aren't making millions of dollars from Insight Fantasy Sport anymore. So it's got to set up what I can.
Don't worry, Robbie. I got you back. Well, Rob's also not dumb enough to trade Luka Doncic to the Lakers, you fucking grub. So
go the Mavericks.
Go Nico.
Fuck the Lakers.
All right.
Damn right.
Questions?
Yeah.
It's question time. Let's answer your questions for the week ahead.
We're going to give a shout out to a man who signed a contract extension this year or this week. It was Massimo D'Ambrosio. Pizza, pasta, wine, driving the Ferrari down to Nonna's house and jumping out and going, Nonna, no, not the dollars in the lire to buy the pasta and the vino. Sit down. spaghetti bolognese, pizza, ravioli. The whole family welcome. You fucking ripper. And you know who else is fun? His pop. Did you see his pop on Instagram a couple of months ago?
He's awesome. Awesome.
What a man. Congratulations, Massimo. 2-year extension.
As a Bombers man, do you just hate it? Like, he's played 58 of 59 games since he's come across. The other player that we're going to throw out there as well is Voss, who's sitting at Fremantle now. Yep. Mate, you guys have a top 5 draft pick that racks up touches when he gets a game, but he can't get a game. So he's going to go somewhere and get some more pieces as well. Like, what is going on at Bomberland to give these players away?
I disliked what Dodoro did, the way that he was recruiting players. What Rosa's doing now and purposely recruiting for our needs instead of just recruiting 6-foot midfielders or, people that like Voss had a lot of potential, but just didn't fit in with what we were doing. Massimo, and you played a lot of footy as well, Robbie. Probably the easiest position to replace is a halfback flanker or a back pocket.
Yep.
So that probably made him expendable. But when you're talking the likes of Archie Roberts and Zach Johnson and Angus Clark and these sorts of players that are coming through now, like it's bad because he was playing well with the Hawks and like tearing it up last year. He was awesome and it looked ordinary. But when you look at it from the other point of view, I think it's worked well from both sides now.
Fair enough. Good call.
Who do you reckon the most disappointed, like to Essendon fans, who's their most frustrating and disappointing player? Because I'll tell you, it's surely got to be Archie Perkins, because I've never seen an AFL player that is more scared of contact than him. If you do this, when a player comes at you, you know that AFL footy ain't cut out. You're not cut out for it.
It doesn't look good, does it?
It's horrible.
Yep. Skull, if Carlton don't make if Carlton don't make finals, Curro will shave her head.
Oh, please. Just anything to get her off our TV. She can keep her hair. Just get off our TV.
Horse head in the bed. Carlton between June 18, 23 and June 30, 2024, 22 wins, 6 losses. Since July 6, 2024, Carlton are 6 wins, 15 losses, and still shit.
Mm-hmm. Which is fantastic. Their only wins. So this time last year, at round 17 last year, they were second on the ladder. They've then proceeded to lose 15 and win 8. The only wins have come against North twice, West Coast 3 times, Geelong, Essendon, and St Kilda. That is not a good list to beat.
But let's just go through this really quickly. Jewel Brownlow medalist, Crisp. 2 Coleman medalists, Mackay and Curnow. All-Australian key back, Wiedering. Top 5 ruck, probably now top 4 ruck in TDK. I know he's about to go, but
Walsh.
right now. Number 1, they got number 1 draft picks in All-Australian in Walsh. They got 3 in the best 22, under 22, Chera, who's been in it 3 times. They got an All-Australian halfback in Sard, All-Australian halfback in Doherty, and runner-up Swans best and fairest who came to their side in Georgie Hewitt. How are you not performing with those types of players in your list?
I'll tell you, ass.
Do you know but do you know what they honestly haven't done? Do you know footy's changed? Like footy has changed. You need great more forwards, and they don't have any. When Hawks went and grabbed Watson, and people were like, "Oh, you just got Ginnivan. What are you doing?" It's like teams need goal-scoring small forwards to be around it. Who have they got? Motlop. That's literally what they're sitting with. Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
And so all you're doing is you're the most obvious team of who you're kicking to when you go inside 50. They're at least bringing it to ground and no one's there to mop up and out it goes. Shit.
That's great. Good, Betty.
Sorry, I'm just going through the highlighted comments, mate. We'll get back to that one though. Chincotta to Butters, we agree, lads?
I think there's a good chance that.
Yep.
Benny G, Horseye, 4 trades left and no Gorn. That 15% of the 5K isn't look good, mate. You don't need Gorn, mate. I don't have him.
Yeah, I don't think you need to at the moment.
Skull, I'd pay top coin to be the meat in a Bonton Sam Darcy shower sandwich.
You know what's funny? I saw that comment before, laughed at it, and I was like, that's just not something that horse would put on the screen. I stand corrected. Well played horse.
There you go. Corey, I'm struggling to decide between Butters, Dacos, and Bont who to pick this week. I don't have
Damn,
any.
doesn't it? Damn.
I nearly want to say delete app if you don't have any one of those three.
Well, Corey's sitting top 3K at the moment.
He's going very nicely.
I stand corrected. Gee.
I'm worried about the Chincotta tag. Dacos, I think we can just stay with Dacos.
Dacos, I'd say.
Matters. Yeah, Dacos or Bont. Bont's just Bont, so I'd go with whatever's cheapest.
Skull again. I'm bald and would still rather my hair than Ed Richards.
That's facts. That is facts. Curly and red. Ooh.
Deadly. How good are Reese's Cups? Seriously, almost as good as my performances on the show.
That's valid. That's valid. Reese's Cups are good.
I've never been a peanut butter chocolate fan.
No,
Have you?
Yeah.
I don't mind them.
Mate. Hey, mate. Wang, Sam Darcy versus Mills and Anderson. Turfing, Robertson, Bolton. I'd pick Wang and Darcy.
Yeah, I think I would do the same there. Yes, I would.
Depends on the makeup because he's thrown in a forward there where the other one's a defender and a midfield. Like I think Mills and Anderson maybe give you more points as an average, but I want to know who you're fading out to do each one. Like who's that third person that stays makes a difference to what this trade looks like.
For sure. Good point, mate. James P. Cozzy Pickett will go mental to finish the year. Set of games at the G and strongly considering him for my last flex spot, pending the price of Whitfield.
It is, but Melbourne are also a basket case right now. So let's just let's see how they go firstly against week by week. I reckon, and we can make that call on Cozzy.
Yeah, I think people are getting too like, oh, I've got this flex position. I can just throw caution into the wind with it. It's like, someone's going to drop off. Still pick who you think's going to be the best player, not just who has a high ceiling, but also an extremely low floor.
Yeah. Good point.
In response to your 8 bits of chicken in your box that you got for $3.95 today, that's almost as good as getting a freebie at the Rippers.
You're not wrong, but being a happily in a relationship, the chicken was better.
Skull. The Hawthorn and North Melbourne retro logos we had before reminds me of Dunstall wearing a helmet and Carey doing not very good things. Let's move on. I didn't see that last week. Is it worth bringing in Bo Allen this week, 119K defender mid? I think as a downgrade, yes. I think they're going to play him the back end of the year.
I couldn't give a stuff. I'd rather just get someone that's 99K and just sit there. Like I'd rather have that than Bo Allen's minus 15.
Yeah, you shouldn't be picking players for like what score you think they're going to get. You've got McCarthy there that can play as a 99K. You got Liddy for some cash. You got
Johnson, Bolton, and Cleary to Mills, Darcy, and Liddy. Good trades this week, horse. Yes. Yep, I'd do that.
Mm-hmm. Johnson is in the.
Yeah, Zach Johnson, I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I reckon that's good.
Assuming he's already got McCarthy as well. So, yep, I like that.
A Squid rant is foreplay for this old man.
You're welcome, my man. I hope you were able to get it out without the blue pills.
Benny G, I send Squiddy rants to prospective Tinder dates to get them in the mood.
I'm glad that I can get them soaking for you, my man.
Hey, fellas, did you know they used a real horse head in the bed in The Godfather? Deadly has also a real horse head in his bed named Caro.
Oh, my gosh.
I need to read these comments before I star them. Zach Williams to go to Butters and Chincotta to Rosie if he plays halfback, I reckon. If Zach Williams goes to Butters, Butters will score 130 million.
Another one of Carlton's terrible calls on a price tag as well.
You know what?
How does he get paid so much?
That could be what Voss might do.
Oh, surely not. You either go head to head. You either go head to head, or you're tagging with Chincotta. You either stick your midfield in and say, let's go and beat them, or you put Chincotta on him.
Agreed.
All Australian Cal Wilkie says, thanks very much for your kind words.
Absolutely.
Skull is actually tuning in from the West Indies.
Can we go back to that one? Because I thought we were going to talk about are we going to talk about the Defenders Award, or is that later?
Oh, we can.
We'll finish off the questions and we'll get into it if you like.
Nice.
No hurls tonight. Can't laugh at Carlton with him. Yeah, unfortunately not.
Yeah, this would have been a really good week to have hurls on. That's all right.
Mate, you're getting plenty of love in the chat, Hawk. People loving seeing you back.
Cheers, everyone. Cheers, Jasper.
Might even bring you back on next week when North beat the Hawks.
Absolutely. Jono, how are you, brother? Good to see you, mate. IJ reckons he signed a contract extension for the numbers pod, Squid.
Who, IJ?
Yeah.
Who the fuck gave him a contract?
That's
worse than Zach Williams.
Oof.
Ouch.
That's worse than Jack Martin.
Hawksy brings up a good point. Perkins' first red flag should have been telling recruiters that he wouldn't move away from home. Do you remember that?
I do, actually. Yeah, that's not something that you want to be able to do. And there's actually a player in the NBA draft that's starting to shoot his stocks tomorrow in the NBA draft. So that's not what you want to be doing. Like
Ace Bailey,
Ace Bailey, yeah.
Fun fact, I went to school with Clancy Rutherforth, which was the bloke who wrote the letter and set the new rule. He's the one that wrote the letter. He was the under-18s captain here in WA, and he's the one that wrote the letter to all the interstate teams saying as much as he would come and play if he got chosen, that his heart lies in WA. And that's where that rule came out that you actually can't contact the clubs to let them know.
Wow.
Really? What a fucking coward.
I was going to say.
Just go to the club, man.
Shout out to ex-Hale head boy Clancy Rutherforth and Eagles listed player. How are we?
Yep. Hey, mate. And Squiddy does like you too.
Just grow up.
Just grow up. Apparently, your contract, IJ, came out of Deadly's prison wallet.
Oh, my God.
What else have we got? Icebox. Hey, mate. Will Dan Houston bounce back, or is he officially shot as a premium? I think he's done.
Shot. It's Collingwood, man. They don't care who gets the ball. As Nick Dacos gets it, they don't care who else does.
Yep.
What's this defender thing you lads were talking about?
Oh, defender of the year that the AFL is likely bringing in to give a bit of love to defender. Now, I just hope that they don't do this on like running half backman. We don't need that bullshit. What we want is the best lockdown defender wins defensive player of the year. So I am going to vote Toby Pink, obviously, but also too, I am putting up Cal Wilkie and Harris Andrews because I'm glad that they brought this up now because that game that Harris Andrews played on the weekend against Geelong was one of the best defensive games you'll ever see. He took the fucking piss out of Geelong. He made Shannon Neal look like he was 2 foot. He looked like Deadly's height. He just absolutely mauled him. But then there's guys like Wilkie who's had an amazing year all year. Toby Pink's had a good last 4 weeks. He was shit before that, but that's all right. But I think they definitely need to. Rory Lobb, yep, you're right, IJ, the original Cone himself, who's been bounced back, thanks to me.
Yep.
I think that it's been long awaited to have a defensive type award because obviously we've got the goal kicking, we've got the rookie, we've got the Brownlow, which is distinctively a midfielder or Paddy Cripps award. Yeah, I love that they're going to bring in, or they're most likely going to bring in a defensive award. Just don't fuck it up. Make sure it's the best defender. So who would you guys?
I would love them to really. I think the way that I can simply classify the 3 classifications, I've used the word twice there for a defender: most damaging running half, like most damaging running back, best intercept marking back, but in like contested intercept mark role, that floating role, and down. They have to try and work out how they're going to do it because there's, you're picking the best defender. What does that mean? There's too many classifications for what they're doing back there. And I think that's why they've got better with picking the All-Australian team. I think kick-ins should not count with stats. It's ruining history of football and stats and all these types of things. It's a big conversation over here at the moment, which with Jerry McGovern and what's happened there is they're trying to pick the best Eagles back line. And, they're trying to toss up like Ashley McIntosh, Glenn Jakovic. Where does McGovern sit? And they're like, we all love the others because they lock down. But you still need that floating mark taking in modern day football. For me, who I rate, I love Sam Taylor. I think Sam Taylor kind of
good call.
Intercept marks and locks down defender, just like the players that you named in like Harris Andrews. I love Sam Taylor. I think he's incredible.
I like that. Horse?
Ben Mackay, because he gives lots of gold to other teams.
You're a dickhead.
Todd Goldstein and Nate Caddy. Love your work, boys. No, when we're talking lockdown defenders, when he's on, he doesn't get the plaudits he deserves, but Brandon Starcevic is unreal.
Oh, huge.
Cool.
Blake Hardwick.
Yep.
Plays forward.
Nah, he's going back now, and he's doing it well since the whole Sicily situation's gone. Keep going, Horse.
Waiter,
I love
Waitering.
Starcevic back last week was such a difference to them, the Lions getting that win against Geelong. He's awesome.
Yep. When we're talking small forwards, Jed Hughes was very good. Like, he's been in and out of the team, but he's done now. For Essendon, we don't really have one. I mean, McGrath's good sometimes, but then he's shocking other times. When you're talking small defenders, I'd say Starcevic is probably the best.
Yeah, I'd put him up there with Quainer. I reckon Quainer's been real good. He's been a little bit worse this year, but he used to never lose a one-on-one. He was really good.
No. So when we're talking lockdown defenders, Starcevic. When we're talking tall defenders, I think I'm with you, Robbie. Sam Taylor's probably the best. Attacking defenders, is there any better to watch than Nick Blakey when he's up and going?
Oh, any better than Nick Blakey? It'd be him or Wanganeen Millera. I reckon they're both fantastic. The only reason everyone loves Nick Blakey is because it looks like he's running around there with a broken neck, and his C4 is just completely warped. So
C4.
Yeah, I like that call a lot. I think the other ones at the moment as well are I really like Jordan Clark when he's up and about. I think he's underrated with what he's doing when they actually use him in the right way. And I think you have to go the other lizard, Josh Weddle, when he's getting up and about at the moment as well.
He's fun to watch,
well and showing his versatility. But yeah, Lockie Ash is an interesting one in the messages there. But yeah, there's a few good running, but it's hard to differentiate those disposals versus damaging, that real damaging. And I love that call of the frilled neck lizard. Like, I think that's a great call. He can be extremely damaging. Yep,
absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do us for tonight. Been going for an hour and a half, but we fucking love footy, so we just get carried away talking footy. Robbie, for people that want to chew the fat with you footy-wise, mate, where can they find you on the socials?
Yeah, jump on. I jump on X and you guys tag me in a few things, and I do as much as I can. I love having a chat. I try to tell myself to do it less and less, but I can't help myself. Love the seasons, love getting involved. Really looking forward to next year. You and I have talked about this, Horse. Next year, I'm going to very much make 2 teams. So that I can focus on the head-to-head league with the money, but get amongst trying to really get back into those top ranking points and chew the fat about that as well. So yeah, jump on X, everyone. Follow me. The handle's right there. Hock to a little bit of a joke. Had to be done with the viral sensation that went around. But yeah, cheers for having me, boys. It's been a lot of fun and really love chewing the fat. Send me private messages, anyone. I'm happy to send them back as well if you want to go the one-on-one chat as well.
You gotta give him that hock and spit on that thing. You get me?
Going.
Woo. Squid, where can the people don't find you, my friend?
SA Squiddy, you know how it is. I do what I do, and that's just how it goes. So appreciate you all, love you all, and good to have the OG squad back. It's been fantastic.
It's awesome, isn't it? Being able to run it back with the OG squad again. It was January 30th, 2023. We ran our first show. It was Robbie and I. We would get 20, 30, 40 viewers a week. And now tonight, 250 at any one time. We're getting however many thousand each week, downloads on audio, downloads on YouTube. Plenty of thumbs up, mind you. Give us a thumbs up if you listen to us on audio. Give us that 5-star review. Helps us get into the ears of those that are banter-minded, like-minded, SuperCoach-minded people like us. But we've just come so far in such a short amount of time, and we look forward to continuing this ride that is SuperCoach, whether it's AFL, whether it's NRL, whether it's BBL, whether it's NBL, NBA stuff's coming up. We got plenty going on here at Insight. But most importantly, before we leave, we're all about breaking the stigma around mental health. So remember, it's okay not to be okay, and it's not weak to speak. So as Squiddy is repping the band there on his wrist, if you're having those dark thoughts going through your mind, if you're not feeling great, if it's all doom and gloom, reach out to someone, whether it be a family member, a friend, a relative, Lifeline, Beyond Blue. There are people that are out there that want to help you, regardless of whether you think they are or not. So remember, It is okay not to be okay, and it's not weak to speak. On behalf of Hawk, Squiddy, and myself, the horse, thank you for tuning in tonight. Tomorrow night, 6:30, we've got the Panic Room here on Insight. Rookie Coach is joining me for that one. We'll catch you then.